The wind howled outside the small, wooden cabin nestled deep in the snow-covered mountains. It was late January, and the blizzard had blanketed everything in a sea of white. Inside the cabin, a man sat silently by the fireplace, staring at the flickering flames. His name was Daniel Brooks, a rugged, quiet man in his late 30s, with a strong build, dark beard, and tired, sorrowful eyes that had seen too much loss for one lifetime. He lived alone with his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, a bright, curious little girl with golden curls and an angelic laugh that reminded him of her mother, gone now for 2 winters. The grief still sat heavy on his chest, though he wore it like armor, never showing the world how much he hurt. Daniel had buried his heart with his wife. Since then, life had become about survival, routine, and protecting Lily from both the harshness of the world and the cold in his own soul. That evening, as the storm intensified, Daniel went out to check the generator behind the cabin. Snow whipped across his face like tiny knives. He squinted into the white nothingness, just about to turn back inside when something caught his eye. A shape. A color too soft for the wilderness. At the edge of the tree-line, barely visible under a mound of snow, lay a woman. His heart stopped. Without a second thought, he sprinted through the knee-deep snow, kneeling beside her. She was unconscious, her lips tinged with blue, her clothes soaked through. He scooped her into his arms. She was light, fragile, like a bird with a broken wing. He brought her inside, kicking the door shut behind him as Lily peeked out from behind the couch, eyes wide. "Daddy, who is she?" the little girl whispered. Daniel didn't answer. He laid the woman gently on the couch, pulling off her boots and coat. Her skin was ice cold. He wrapped her in blankets, stoked the fire until it roared, and rubbed her hands between his own. As he worked to warm her, he couldn't help but notice the delicate features of her face, faint freckles on her nose, pale lashes dusted with frost, lips that trembled with life still fighting to stay. Hours passed. Then, finally, she stirred. Her eyes fluttered open, soft hazel, confused, scared. "Where am I?" she murmured, her voice like a cracked whisper. "You're safe," Daniel said gently, crouching beside her. "You were caught in the storm. I found you outside. I was driving, the road disappeared." "You're lucky," he said, and for the first time in months, a ghost of a smile touched his lips. "Very lucky." Over the next few days, the storm raged on, trapping them in the cabin. Her name was Claire Bennett, a schoolteacher from the city. She'd been on her way to visit her sister when her car spun off the mountain road. She had walked for hours through the snow, hoping to find help. Her body gave out just a few feet from Daniel's cabin. At first, Daniel kept his distance. He was polite, protective, but reserved. He wasn't used to strangers, especially not kind ones who looked at him like he was more than a broken man with a broken past. But Claire, she smiled at Lily, helped her draw pictures, told her stories by the fireplace. And Lily adored her instantly. There was one evening when Lily had gone to sleep, and Claire sat by the fire, wrapped in Daniel's thick flannel blanket. Snow still tapped gently at the window panes, but inside, there was a calm warmth. "Thank you," Claire said softly, watching the flames. "For saving my life." Daniel looked down, rubbing his calloused hands together. "Anyone would have done the same." "No," she said. "Not everyone would have risked themselves in a blizzard for a stranger. That kind of kindness, it's rare." Something stirred inside him, something unfamiliar. Or maybe it was just something long buried, now thawing. They talked more after that. He told her about his wife, how she had died in a car crash, how he had nearly gone mad with grief. He told her about moving to the mountains to escape the world. About how Lily was the only thing that kept him breathing. Claire listened without judgment. She didn't pity him. She just sat there, listening with a gentle understanding that didn't need words. Her presence became a balm. Her laugh, soft, musical, began to echo in the cabin, dancing off the walls like sunshine in winter. Daniel found himself waking up early just to make her coffee. He began shaving again. He laughed more. Lily noticed it too. One morning, as Claire helped Lily with her scarf, the little girl whispered, "Are you going to be my new mommy?" Claire looked up, startled. Her eyes flicked to Daniel's, uncertain, tender. Daniel walked over, crouched beside Lily, and said, "That's not how it works, sweetheart. But maybe she could be our friend." Lily nodded thoughtfully. "I like her as a friend." That night, after Lily had gone to bed, Claire and Daniel sat outside on the porch, wrapped in blankets, watching the stars. "I've been afraid to feel anything for a long time," Daniel said quietly. "It's like my heart froze the day she died." Claire looked at him, her breath a mist in the air. "Sometimes, the cold teaches us how precious warmth is." He turned to her. "You brought warmth with you, Claire. More than I thought I'd ever feel again." Tears welled in her eyes, but she smiled. "Maybe we saved each other." The days grew longer, the snow began to melt. Claire helped clean the attic, organizing old boxes. One afternoon, she found a dusty scrapbook filled with photos, Daniel and his wife, Lily as a baby, smiles that had once lit up rooms. She didn't pry, just left the book open on the table. That night, Daniel saw it, sat down slowly, and turned each page. His fingers trembled. But something shifted. It didn't hurt the same way anymore. He walked into the kitchen, found Claire washing dishes. "She would have liked you," he said quietly. Claire paused, her back to him. "I hope so." Daniel stepped closer. "I think she'd want me to live again. To feel again." Claire turned around. His eyes met hers, open for the first time in years. Spring came early that year. The snow melted. The mountains turned green again. Claire didn't leave. She stayed. Not because she had nowhere else to go, but because she had found something rare, something fragile and beautiful. A man who had lost everything but still found the strength to open his door. A child who welcomed her without hesitation. A cabin in the woods where love had once died, but now bloomed again like wildflowers after a long, bitter winter. Daniel built a bench for the porch where they could sit and watch Lily chase butterflies. He planted flowers where there had only been snow. Claire brought music back into the cabin, soft guitar, gentle humming while she cooked. Laughter returned, not forced or fleeting, but full and real. One night, as the stars lit up the sky, Daniel took Claire's hand. His voice was low, almost a whisper. "I don't know what the future holds. I just know that when I saw you lying in the snow, something in me woke up." Claire leaned her head on his shoulder. "Sometimes, it takes nearly freezing to death to feel truly alive." And Daniel knew, his heart wasn't frozen anymore. It had melted into something warm. Something strong. Something worth living for.